This is so clever, okay? Because they're really putting her in a catch-22 trap here.
Yeah, we've lost some talk.
Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Tashti Flo, journalist, Hollywood truth teller, and your voice of reason in a town built on delusion. Okay, you are going to laugh during this episode, I promise you, because things are getting so ridiculous now, and things are about to blow up in Isabella Ferrer's face. So if you didn't watch my episode yesterday, you should probably watch that first, because I talk a lot about Isabella Ferrer's filing. Isabella was the one who played young Lily in It Ends With Us. So she played a younger version of Blake Lively, and their friendship has gotten tighter and tighter and tighter. And now she doesn't want to be subpoenaed by Justin Baldoni. She only wants to be subpoenaed by Blake Lively. And Justin Baldoni's team has tried to get hold of her for a long time. And they asked the judge if they could use alternative ways to subpoena her because she didn't respond. Her lawyers didn't respond. But yesterday she did respond, and she called Justin Baldoni a bully. And she said that what he's been doing by trying to subpoena her is harassment. And guess what? They all went for the bait. Every single headline today in any mainstream media outlet was Isabella Ferrer claims to be harassed by Justin Baldoni. Of course, this is what they wanted, is right out of Blake Lively's playbook. And now there is another victim, and they can be like victim sisters here. And of course, when you Google Blake Lively today as well, it's all about another victim being harassed by Justin Baldoni, and no one cares about Taylor Swift writing songs about her anymore. Well, not really. It's funny, though, how all these media outlets picked up that story when no one really picked up the story about the content creators who were being subpoenaed. There was no sympathy when 107 content creators were being subpoenaed and they doxed everyone's information. And there was no talk about Blake Lively's team covering our expenses for attorneys. But Isabella Ferrer is obviously very different because she's a non-party here, a witness that's a non-party, while we were third parties here. Try to make sense of that we were closer to this case than actually Isabella Ferrer, who was there, who's been working with both parties here. An interesting twist here is that Isabella Ferrer was complaining about being dragged into this litigation. And by doing that, she dragged herself deeper into this litigation. And she created all the clickbaits that she was accusing Baldoni of doing to her. No one really wrote about how Isabella Ferrer went into hiding and it was difficult to get hold of her, so they couldn't file that subpoena on her. So congrats to Isabella Ferrer for making herself the headline here and for making herself the story, which is exactly the opposite of what she claims that she wanted to do. Anyways, just a little side note here. Her lawyers misspelled Wayfarer throughout the entire filing, which I find so sloppy, which says all about this filing to me. Blake Lively's team did the same thing with all the subpoena that they filed to all the Wayfarer parties about my name. They misspelled my name in every subpoena as well. Amazing. Anyways, there's one outlet that didn't fall for this stunt, which is the Daily Mail, which is basically the largest outlet of them all. The Daily Mail is one of the largest online platforms in the world when it comes to news. So the fact that they are calling out Isabella Ferrer in this article, like major calling her out, really made me optimistic. I'm going to read a little bit from that article, and that's when I promise you, you are going to laugh. But first, I want to talk about how Justin Baldoni's team reacted to Isabella Ferrer's PR stunt yesterday. So Wayfarer Party's attorney here is pointing out that now Isabella Ferrer has increased her legal fees by doing this stunt. So now there's going to be back and forth about this, and she's going to get even higher legal bills. And she, as you know, as I talked about yesterday, wants Baldoni's team to cover her legal fees so she can spend their money on denying their subpoena. tried to make sense of this, you guys. I've seen a few lawyers talk about this filing already, and they're just like, what is this a mess? So this entire filing is basically about the discussion whether Isabella Ferrer can receive the subpoena in an alternative way. Instead of just saying, yeah, give me the subpoena, whatever, just like Perez Hilton did when they said that they couldn't get hold of him. Perez Hilton reached out to them and said, hey, you can just use my email address and just email me the subpoena, and that's fine. So that's exactly what Isabella Ferrer could have done here. But instead, she chose to play the victim. And now she's going to get higher legal fees because of that. And at the moment, she's paying for her own attorney, which is obviously taking lessons from Blake and Ryan's attorneys, because this filing is just right up their alley. Anyways, back to their response. They're saying in the letter, Mr. Michaelman appears to have accepted service of her subpoena without objection, talking about how Isabella Ferrer accepted Blake Lively's subpoena without any objection. Given the circumstances, the Wayfair parties are willing to stipulate that none of the parties will use any communication from, or concerning Miss Ferrer or any testimony from her in any manner in this action. So they're suggesting, let's just skip Isabella Ferrer altogether and see what happens then. And then they continue to say that stipulation will satisfy Ms. Ferrer's apparent desire to avoid involvement in the litigation and trial. If the other parties decline to enter in such a stipulation and Ms. Ferrer and her counsel continues to resist service, the court could enter an order excluding Ms. Ferrer as a witness and excluding the use of any communication to, from, or concerning Ms. Ferrer in any manner in this action. This is so clever, okay? Because they're really putting her in a catch-22 trap here. Because if Lively agrees that Isabella Ferrer is out of the picture, she doesn't have a witness anymore. And she can't use any of the information that Isabella Ferrer gave her in that subpoena.
She thinks I'm really young.
22 when
it's
we
a
did
wonderful
it.
compliment.
No, by 1 year.
And she will lose her mini-me clone and no longer have any witness. If Blake Lively's team refuses to exclude her, then they're responsible for dragging Isabella Ferrer deeper into litigation, which is not what Isabella Ferrer wants. She wants to stay out of this. That's why she made sure to create headlines all over the place today. Also, if Blake Lively agrees to cut her as a witness, we know that she has zero evidence. So this is really an amazing trap. Maybe that's why Blake Lively is putting pressure on Isabella Ferrer here. If Blake Lively's team don't agree to this, then Isabella Ferrer has to show Justin Baldoni all her communications with Blake Lively. And either way, Isabella Ferrer is going to look like a hypocrite. Anyways, before I continue talking about this amazing Daily Mail article that was published today, I wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, June's Journey. Whenever you need a break from Hollywood drama, I found something much more intriguing. And no, it's not another celebrity scandal. It's a mystery that actually you get to solve. June's Journey is a gorgeous hidden object mystery set in the glamorous 1920s. You step into the heels of June Parker, a sharp amateur detective. Then you start uncovering secrets, finding clues, and piecing together a story full of twists. The hidden object scenes are like visual puzzles. Every detail matters. But it's not only about the mystery, you also get to design your own private island. That allows you to add your own creative touch as you progress. And there are always special events with new scenes and rewards, so it never feels repetitive. For me, it's the perfect mix. Something relaxing to play, but still challenging enough to keep me engaged. So thanks again to June's Journey for sponsoring this video, and you can download the game for free. Just click on the link in my description or scan the QR code on the screen, and you can start solving mysteries and building your own 1920s world. That's June's Journey, free on iOS, Android, and PCs. Okay, so before I get into the Daily Mail article that made me laugh so hard, I wanted to show this short clip of how Blake Lively and Isabella Ferrer were interviewed together and by MTV. The theme was like besties, to see how much they knew each other and how much they loved each other and how much, they adore each other. And the interview wanted to ask about the mold, that they have a similar mold on their face. Blake Lively had one here and Isabella has one here. And this little clip tells me everything I need to know about how they schemed up against Justin Baldoni.
I was thinking they put that on, but...
A lot of people guessed that. Even in my director's session, my director asked if the mark was real. And I said, the mark? You mean my mole? The mark.
Isabella doesn't even say his name at this point. She refers to him as my director, and the face she makes like he asked me that, and the face she makes like he asked me that. It's so clear to me that Blake Lively has poisoned her before this and said, don't even mention his name. Don't ever mention Justin Baldoni's name. And all the other interviews they did together, she never mentioned his name. And all the other interviews they did together, she never mentioned his name. Isn't this quite interesting? And then just a few months before this, she sent Justin Baldoni a text message telling him how safe she felt on the set, and it was such an amazing experience for her. Talk about two-faced. Okay, so we have to talk about this Daily Mail article. This made my day. Thank you, Daily Mail, for telling it as it is. They had a headline saying, it ends with us actress Isabella Ferrer accuses Justin Baldoni of harassment over subpoena in fiery legal rebuttal. So same kind of headline as everyone else. But when you read the article, this journalist for sure knows what she's talking about here. So she starts off with saying how Justin Baldoni, saying that the 41-year-old filmmaker claimed the 24-year-old second cousin of George Clooney. That's Isabella Ferrer. She's the second cousin of George Clooney, and they're referring to her as that, has been unreachable and unresponsive in requests for all communication related to his 37-year-old on-screen leading lady's federal lawsuit against him. So Blake Lively is just referred to as the 37-year-old on-screen leading lady. And the way they're pointing out that Isabella Ferrer is related to George Clooney, to me says like, hey, everyone, she is a Nepo baby and she's not this innocent up-and-coming actress like everyone's been talking about. She's not. She's well-connected. So there goes the innocent up-and-coming actress image. Anyways, she continues to say, when the granddaughter of Rosemary Clooney and Jose Ferrer, also Hollywood veterans, responded to Blake's subpoena in February, she invoked an indemnification clause in her It Ends With Us acting contract with Wayfair Studios, requiring them to pay her legal fees. The article says, the legal documents read, Baldoni made no effort to tailor the subpoena towards the production of new or different materials, demonstrating that the real aim of the Baldoni subpoena, as well as the pending motion, is to harass Miss Ferrer. The question is, how is it harassment to subpoena a witness? She is one of the key witnesses in this case. And Justin Baldoni needs to talk to this key witness to defend himself against Blake Lively. How is that harassment? They're quoting Isabella from another interview when she's talking about how amazing Justin Baldoni was. She's saying that, and there's no patronizing, I don't feel not heard. I always feel like I can go up to him and ask him for anything. I mean, our first call after I got this job, it was a FaceTime. And the first thing he said to me was like, whatever you need, whatever, wherever, call me. And Daily Mail continues to say, 2 weeks after production wrapped, that same year, the former restaurant worker thanks the Man Enough podcaster for an incredible experience on my first film, as documented on his website. So they're referring to her as the former restaurant worker. In that text, she said, you are such a wonderful, smart, and sincere director, and you created such a comfortable, safe space for me to feel like I could fully step into this role. I couldn't have asked for a more welcoming environment. it will stay with me for the rest of my life. Really, it stayed with her only for a couple of weeks until Blake Lively got to her. She forgot all about it. And now it's one of the most horrible experiences of her life. In reality, what Isabella Ferrer did when she filed this was make herself a target. She made herself a target for harassment, for online harassment, because now she has put herself in a position of being Blake Lively's ally more than ever before, because she hasn't really come out and said anything. But now she's attacking Justin Baldoni. And Justin Baldoni has the support of the general public. So when she attacks him, she puts herself in a very vulnerable position. And if she thinks that the criticism that she's received on Reddit, on TikTok was bad until now, I think she's going to experience a lot worse than that. It's sad that people are attacking others online, and I don't think anyone deserves that. And I think it's not a great thing, but criticism is another thing. And when you look at Isabella Ferrer's IMDb, I can't see that she actually has any new projects coming up. And she was in one of the most successful blockbuster movies last summer. Why doesn't she have any new projects? The journalist continues to say, but once Ferrer began promoting the movie alongside Lively, born Brown, the actress allegedly poisoned her and the cast, as well as author Colleen Hoover, against Justin. And then they link to another story saying, just like she once did with her Gossip Girl leading man, Penn Badgley, she is really going after Isabella Ferrer and Blake Lively here. Ferrer, and she says, Ferrer enjoyed sleepovers with angel mentor Blake. And last year, another Simple Favor actress jokingly called herself Isabella's stage mom. Then, I'm sorry I have to quote so much from this article because I really enjoyed reading it. Then she says, Lively faced substantial outrage over the treatment of journalists, sarcastically answering questions about DV in her movie and floral-filled Barbie-style promotion directly tied to her hair care and booze brands. The DV drama marketing was all masterminded by the LA-born mother-of-four husband, Ryan Reynolds, through his company Maximum Effort. She continues, as more evidence is revealed, Blake, who requires authorship on all her films, appears to have masterminded a takeover of the, it ends with a script, wardrobe, score, and editing departments by threatening to pull out of promoting it. Okay, I'm getting to the end here. The Secrets of the Penguin narrator, Blake Lively, has accused Baldoni of SH and retaliation against her with a smear campaign, and her legal team has issued over 100 subpoenas to content creators, accusing them of being on his payroll. Thank you, Daily Mail, for also mentioning that. And then she ends the article like this. Ironically, Blake leaked her CRD complaint to the New York Times to publish a one-sided article last December, which exposed Wayfarer publicist Jennifer Abel's text messages dubiously obtained through a subpoena stemming from a sham lawsuit filed by Reynolds' company Van Zandt. Hooray, Daily Mail. Thank you so much for telling it as it is. As I said, Daily Mail is such a huge publication. They have an enormous readership all around the world. So the fact that they are doing this just really made my day, because what really upsets me about this case is how incredibly hypocritical all these people are. They're so two-faced. Like Isabella here, I follow you, Blake, because you are more rich and famous, and you and Ryan can probably help me get a better career. That's the only reason she's doing this. Why was she besties with Blake all of a sudden? She loved working with Justin Baldoni. Yeah, it's all gonna come out and it's all gonna blow up in their faces. Anyways, yesterday I spoke about how Blake Lively, if you Google her now and her Instagram shows up, it gives you some tag words for her Instagram, which is weird because when you click on it, you just see her regular Instagram and her tags or her description line is very different. In Google, you see her Instagram appear and it says, her work has shaped our nation. Who she is as a human, woman, mother, leader, fighter, healer, empath, risk taker, and dream maker has shaped my heart and ... Someone commented on this. Thank you so much. Aris Jan, he said, Shashti, that's meta description. You need an access to back end to change or add a meta description as well as meta keywords and several other HTML elements. It's a SEO strategy related manipulation. She paid for certain words to push up the keywords as well. Thank you for clarifying that, because it does look really shady. So now we all know what Nick Shapiro's been up to. This is what he's doing now for a living, making sure that everyone thinks that Blake Lively is a dream maker, empath, mother, leader, healer, fighter. Oh my gosh. Anyways, that's it from me, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for subscribing. And if you haven't yet, please do and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Floss and Talk. And before I go, don't forget that you can download June's Journey for free from the link in my description or by scanning this QR code so you can start solving mysteries and building your own 1920s world. See you in my next one. Bye.
Yeah, we floss and talk.